Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992 today.
Imagine if today was the day your idea changed someone's life. Imagine if you could help someone pay for college, help your community build a new playground, or help a child make it to that dream competition. With GoFundMe, it's all possible. GoFundMe is the world's #1 fundraising platform trusted by over 200 million people. Every week, ordinary people meet their goals and do extraordinary things. Your ideas matter. GoFundMe isn't just for emergencies. Want to raise money for your kid's soccer team or raise funds for a small business, a creative project, or event? GoFundMe helps you turn ideas into reality. And help adds up. Fundraisers you start for someone else raise up to 5 times more. So think right now, who could use your help? Change rarely comes from waiting. It comes from someone deciding, today I'll start. Don't wait for someone else to bring change. Today, start your fundraiser in just minutes at GoFundMe.com/news. That's GoFundMe.com/news to start your fundraiser. GoFundMe.com/NEWS. This is a commercial message brought to you by GoFundMe.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
You know what we should do? Let me give another idea for programming and promotions and sales. We'll call the event Dunking on the DA. It's for city-only residents that have had it in the city of Philadelphia with Larry Krasner. It'll be a night out hosted by the 2 greatest Krasner haters, Dom Giordano and Tony Bruno. They'll talk about Larry Krasner and they'll debate sauce versus gravy. Be an unbelievable night.
I love it. Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
The John Birch Society is coming! The John Birch Society is coming!
The John Birch Society is hosting its annual leadership conference at the Crown Plaza Hotel in King of Prussia, featuring retired General Michael Flynn, recent guest on the Tucker Carlson Network, the Solari Report CEO Catherine Austin Fitz, and national speaker and host of Behind the Deep State, Alex Newman. For tickets and more info, go to jbs.org. Saturday, September 13th, 67 Years of Truth. Go to jbs.org today.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
What's up, Pennsylvania? Yeah, y'all know the deal. Turn down the volume because we coming in hot. And you can't stop me. It is what it is. I am a woman who understands she has purpose. And I mean, I say this all the time. You got to know what's worth fighting for. And I believe truth is worth fighting for. I believe our family is worth fighting for. And I believe our country is worth fighting for. So you can't stop me. Woo! Playing it one more time. Here we go. Y'all ready? You can't stop. Yes, you are listening to Kathy Barnett. I am sitting in for my double good girlfriend, Dawn Stensland, on the Dawn Stensland Show. We have a full 2 hours, which probably going to feel like 15 minutes. I do like 5 hours of prep for what feels like 15 minutes each hour. But joining me for this first hour is my new friend. Kind of new, kind of not new. It's like when I see you, I feel like we just pick up where we left off. This is Chris Tremogli. Did I pronounce that right?
Tremolia.
Okay. Chris.
Yes.
Reporter and editor at Washington Examiner. I get your emails almost every day. I read them whenever they pop up. Great insight, and I wanted to invite you in.
Thank you. Appreciate for having me on. Thanks for thinking of me.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. You said it when we were out in the hall before we walked in here, and I feel it all the time. I mean, trying to keep up with what's going on in the media is like trying to drink water from a fire hydrant.
For sure.
I think it's intentional, as I said to you. We're constantly being encouraged to be enraged about something.
Absolutely, yeah, totally. It's like a constant feed of anger that just comes out on the social media nowadays.
It is.
Especially with Trump in office. It's just kind of like vilifying anything and everything he does. He sneezes the wrong way, he gets criticized. He does, putting together all these like peace deals for countries across the world, and he's getting vilified for that. So doing things with Russia and Ukraine that no one could do. Still haven't finished the job yet, but it's doing what he hasn't. No one other leaders have been able to do, and gets criticized for that. So, and it's like you said, it's just constantly coming out on social media. So
yeah, I mean, quite frankly, Trump could walk on water, and they will say he's not doing it right.
Right. Yeah. No. Or cure cancer, and it'd be something wrong with that, or
it'd
do
be something
anything.
Wrong with
it was just no matter what he does, he gets kind of beat up on.
And you know what? Of course, I come very prepared always. But then I walk in, and the producer, Dan, gave me a cut sheet. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to just go with your cut sheet. Dan, play number 12 on the cut sheet, because I think this kind of sums up the Democrat Party.
If they give you a gift, take the gift. All right? The vice president came to Georgia, and he said he's attacking me because I voted against this. Well, guess what? I did. And I would do it again and again and again and again. When you get a gift, take the goddamn gift. And J.D. Vance, and you and I have talked about this, and we'll talk about it publicly. He went on vacation. Florida resorts are hurting. Las Vegas tourism is down substantially. The national parks, Yellowstone's down 15%. So, okay, he's entitled to a vacation. I'll give him that. Guess where he went? To a place called Oxfordshire in England, which is a Tony wealthy place that rich Londoners go to. It's called the Martha's Vineyard of England. And why we didn't blow this up? Okay, why didn't the Tourist Association of the Florida Panhandle blow this up? The Las Vegas people.
I want to keep going, but I think it just goes on and on and on. But essentially what he's saying is use J.D. Vance and just kick the you-know-what out of him every chance you get. This is the strategy of the Democrat Party.
Just kick the out of him every chance you get.
Yeah, that is their strategy. The man goes on vacation. Okay, we'll give him that everybody needs to take a vacation. But their big aha is we should just pounce on him every chance we get because he didn't take a vacation in America. He actually went outside of the country. That is it, right? So we got real problems, but they're so obsessed with nothing. They have nothing.
Absolutely
no
nothing.
good policies to make our lives better, to close the border, to stop the drugs, to stop the mutilation of our children's body. The fact that our America is at the bottom of most of the of the academic tiering when we compare our education system to that of the world. No, we're not going to focus on that. Find something nebulous that no one cares about except for the fact that we can use it to say something. That is the Democrat Party.
That was James Carville, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he does. The guy, I have no idea why anyone gives him attention, yet he's constantly on political talk shows. The guy hasn't had a right political prediction since 1992 or something, and he constantly but this is why, like, listen to what he's saying. Like you said, there's no policy, there's no substance there. It's just attacking Vance for going on vacation, as if the presidents and vice presidents of our country don't go on luxurious vacations, as if that's never happened before.
As if most Americans don't go on luxurious vacation, but that's not the point.
It's just that you're trying to, like you said, rage bait and get, like, what are you going to get? Oh my, how dare he go on vacation, the vice president of the United States? If Kamala Harris did this, no one would have cared. Would he be just saying, oh, well, it was wrong for her to be doing that, she should be in the... No, it's just, they find, like you said, there's nothing substantive there. It's just constantly trying to bait people into being angry over the dumbest things. And this is one of the dumbest things. There's nothing to be...
And just kick the out of him.
Yeah, like...
Take J.D. Vance and just kick the crap out of him every chance you get. That is the political strategy of the left and how they're going to win come next year in the midterms and come in 2028. They have nothing to offer us.
He called this a gift. What's the gift? That the vice president went to overseas to Europe? I mean, plenty of Americans do that during the summer. I don't know what the gift is here. Like, that's what I'm talking about. They just have nothing. It's just they're constantly just trying to. I still think they're very dangerous and far political move, but so we shouldn't just say, oh, they're lost,
right.
But they are really lost. They're just kind of like throwing everything
offer
to see what sticks, and then they're going to kind of run on that. And this is like the perfect example of, you're going to bash stuff. Like, what is he supposed to do? Like, just not going because for what reason? Like, there's nothing. That just makes no sense. But like I said, that's James Carville, and he constantly,
again,
nothing to talk about. So let's just make up a fake outrage and make up a controversy.
And this is what social media has come to. I was telling you, I get over 1 million impressions on Twitter alone, just Twitter alone. And I basically just trashed it because I just stopped going out to Twitter, because in order to keep that level of engagement, you just got to constantly feed the algorithm. Absolutely. And I'm like, how can you be happy, a happy person, living your own life, living out your own purpose, walking down your own path, if you're constantly enraged and trying to get other people enraged? I want to have substantive conversations. Let's talk about policies. Let's talk about, yes, you may think you disagree with me, and maybe we really do disagree, but do we disagree on the 80% of things that actually impact our lives toward the positive? I don't think so. I think most Americans agree. Yes, you have the lunatics, the white-haired old people that are outside of Union Station.
The hippies that Stephen Miller called them, the hippie communists, he called them, which I loved because that's such an accurate. It's like they're literally the or not even descendants. I guess at this point they were the Woodstock attendees.
Yes!
Like now they're at Union Station. They went from Woodstock to Union Station to protest stopping crime. Like, think about how absurd this is. They are angry that people are trying to stop violent crime in a city that I believe, depending on some statistics, had the fourth highest violent crime rate in the U.S.
Yeah. Exactly.
And this is mad. Like, what?
And they're the most vulnerable. And I mean, like,
not the white hippies. They're not. They're nowhere near.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is because of their age and their fragility, that the fact that they're frail and they can't really fight off a violent gang of young people who want to just mob them. You would think they would be even more hypersensitive to security. I know we got to take a break. When we come back, I want to play number 35A, that clip from J.D. Vance, speaking right to what you're saying about safety, and then let's play a clip on these white hippies, as Stephen Miller called them. Communists. Okay, guys, you're listening to Kathy Barnett sitting in for Don Stensland on the Don Stensland Show. Here's the call-in number: 855-839-1210. 855-839-1210. Call me. Let's talk about it.
You know your customers. Ralph likes his coffee black on Fridays, but Mondays he takes a little cream. Jennifer comes in every 3 years when her lease is up to get the newer and better model. And for some reason, pepperoni pizza sells like crazy on Friday nights. Who knew? At Odyssey, we have the expertise to get your media plan done right. With ads like you're hearing right now, to targeted social media campaigns, search engine optimization, and location-based advertising. Advertise with Odyssey and help us grow your business. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
Dawn Stensland here with exciting news from my friends at Piazza Auto Group. Acura has just been named America's Best Value Luxury Brand in Kelley Blue Book's 2025 Consumer Choice Awards. That means top performance, cutting-edge tech, and unmistakable style, all with long-term value you can trust. From the sporty Integra to the all-new ADX and your dynamic MDX, Acura delivers more for your drive and your dollar. Visit Piazza Acura in Ardmore, Reading, or Westchester. Shop online, piazzaacura.com. Tell Dawn sent you.
You can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
This is Jordan Lundy of Lundy Law. Every year, millions of people are hurt in car accidents. The numbers are overwhelming. But if you're injured in an accident, don't feel overwhelmed. Call Lundy Law. We'll remove the stress and work quickly to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. We hope we never meet because of an accident, but if we do, we're here for you. Remember our name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit lundylaw.com.
We didn't take to retirement like we thought we would.
We got bored.
So I thought I'd book a trip to Italy to celebrate retiring.
We didn't speak Italian.
We didn't then. We do now. Because of Babbel.
Babbel is the refreshingly easy-to-use app for learning a new language. With more than a dozen languages to choose, Babbel uses immersive lessons to teach you vocabulary and grammar in a way that sticks.
We set a goal for 15 minutes per day.
That's all we needed.
And Italy was just...
bellissima.
That means beautiful.
In Italian.
From interactive lessons led by experts to conversation tips on real-life topics, Babbel's revolutionary teaching style keeps language in your head and easy to remember. Celebrating 15 million subscriptions sold. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
We know you're uncertain about psychics. Is this fortune teller you found on a forum legit?
Your one true love is...
me! That's why California Psychics reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Get insights on the go. Download the California Psychics app today.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend. Oh, my Bob!
Free speech lives here with Rich Zioli weekday afternoons 3 till 7 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
What? Hey, y'all, how you doing? Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Ohio, Michigan. Who's that girl over there? Oh, that's me. What's up? This is Kathy Barnett sitting in for Don Stensland on the Don Stensland Show. Just bringing some humor because you have to. I do. I honestly thank God every day that I wake up choosing to be happy. Because it's a choice, people. Hey, here we go. I know this isn't. Woo! Let me tell y'all, okay? I have walked behind some dark curtains these past 5 years. I understand, Dan, when they say ignorance is bliss. There are times I wish I could go back to just being a stay-at-home mom, homeschooling my children, worried about how many people are going to come to my pool party, right? But I decided to get my head out of the sand and to get engaged in the culture around us. And let me tell you, it's dark, guys. So you got to choose to be happy.
Meghan Trainor helps make you happy, though.
She really does. You should see me.
Chris, you a big Meghan Trainor?
You know, I have this song on my workout playlist. I am not afraid to admit when I'm on my Peloton trying to leave it, I have some Meghan Trainor. So feel free to judge me all you want.
Let me tell you guys, I am now up to 5 miles running, right? Yes, I'm trying. I have committed to doing a half marathon next year. Right now. I'm kind of a long way off, almost halfway, maybe not really, but I'm up to 5 miles.
That's
and
great. I don't think I've ran 5 miles in my entire life.
Let me tell you something. Cumulatively?
Yeah, no. I'm talking about like at one time. I think the most I've ever done at one time in a run was 3 miles. So
3 miles.
And I was like, no more, no need. No humans don't need to do this ever. You know, there's no need for go beyond 3.
Let me tell you, Meghan Trainor is a part of it.
There you go. If I had Meghan Trainor playing 5 miles, maybe I could go on it.
I wanna be me too. I wanna be me. That's me running up that hill, thinking to myself, don't think about the pain. Just listen to Meghan. Okay, listen, let's play that Stephen Miller clip.
That a city can serve for the law-abiding citizens who live there. We are not going to let the communists destroy a great American city, let alone the nation's capital. And let's just also address another thing. All these demonstrators that you've seen out here in recent days, all of these elderly white hippies, they're not part of the city and never have been. And by the way, most of the citizens who live in Washington, D.C. are black. This is not a city that has had any safety for its black citizens for generations. And President Trump is the one who is fixing that with the support of the Metropolitan Police Department, the support of the National Guard, and our federal law enforcement officers. So we're going to ignore these stupid white hippies. You all need to go home and take a nap because they're all over 90 years old. And we're going to get back to the business of protecting the American people and the citizens of Washington, D.C.
Oh, my goodness. Listen, I am not a fangirl. I think I've been to 2 concerts in my life, and they were both Christian concerts.
Okay.
Really?
No Meghan Trainor concerts?
I know. I'm just not a fangirl. Like, listen, I go to YouTube, I find the songs I like, I go about my business, right? I'm not fangirling over anybody, right? I got my own life. But I know it's really sad. I don't go to concerts. 2 Christians. However, I do feel like I could be a fangirl over Stephen Miller.
Okay. Well, he does give like blunt truth. I mean, that's just what it is right there. You know,
I'm loving that.
Yeah.
I'm loving that.
Doesn't sugarcoat it, doesn't mince words, not
Communist.
Blunt truth. White hippie, communist, yes.
Communists, elderly white hippies, stupid white hippies who need to go take a nap. How can you not love that? Do we have so I mean, but the reality is what Donald Trump has done in 9 days. Just 9 days, people. I think JD Vance said it best. Do we have that clip ready?
Entire world. Let's free Washington, D.C. so that young families can walk around and feel safe and secure. That's what we're trying to free D.C. from. And as Stephen said, it's kind of bizarre that we have a bunch of old, primarily white people who are out there protesting the policies that keep people safe when they've never felt danger in their entire lives.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And then he went on Laura Ingraham and he said violent crime has dropped in D.C. 35% in 9 days. Robberies in D.C. have dropped 55% in 9 days. We don't have to live in lawlessness. We don't have to live like third world backwood country. This is America, the greatest nation in the world. And yet you just drive down to Center City and all you smell is urine, right? We don't have to live like that.
Not at all. And you made an excellent point. And then it's like, who's getting mad at this? Like, in what world? I mean, I didn't go to Woodstock. I don't know the hippie mentality. So I don't know.
I wasn't born then.
I don't know. I don't know what their anger is about. Like, who gets angry that crime is dropping? Who gets angry that people can walk around D.C. and not be harmed and not be carjacked? I mean, the absurdity over doing this, the absurdity over the anger of the Trump administration doing it is just maniacal. If you think about it, like, they're really angry that DC is becoming safer, or they didn't want DC to be. And then my favorite part was when they were saying, oh, well, crime is dropping. Like, okay, so clearly it can drop more, and it didn't take much to do it. Like, why did it take this long to get to this point where if it's so, we have to do all these things with the crime and whatnot and have to be sensitive, yet you come in, you take care. And it's not even like they're doing anything there. They're just, if you look at it, they're monitoring, they're patrolling, simple, basic law enforcement stuff that's not requiring the biggest, drastic measures that just they weren't doing. And it's like they kind of sort of wanted crime to happen so they can make a political deal out of it. Yet, the Trump administration showing he wants to make people, he wants to safer communities.
You have said a lot right there, and it brings me back. Although I was running as if I was cut, I would bleed red, white, blue, and Jesus. I am conservative through and through, right? And I'm a Republican, and I was running as a Republican, and I talked about Jesus when I wanted to talk about Jesus, just like I talked about the flag. And I remember going to Black Lives Matter rallies. They would not invite me, although I was the first Black person to ever be doing the things that I was doing. And at that time, it was all about being Black and the first Black person. But I called the NAACP guy and I said, surely you intended to invite me to this Black Lives Matter rally. There's going to be a lot of Black people there. And he said, no, I didn't intend to invite you. So what did I do, being the stubborn person that I am?
Vibrant. Don't say stuff. Vibrant. Person. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. I take that. I showed up with my little white team full of Catholics. I love the Catholics. And I walked up on stage and I took the mic and I started talking to all these Black people. And I was like, and what you just said, it brought me back to that moment, is that what Donald Trump has done in 9 days could have always been done. And Black people are waking up, especially Black men. I'm very proud of that. I saw that back in 2022 when I would go into, predominantly Black communities, and it was the Black men who were like, girl, yes. But Black men are waking up, but this could have always been done. How many children have been lost to gang violence, to drugs, to all of this foolishness that we've been, and Democrats and these controlled Democrat, squalors, they keep promising, oh, this year's going to be different. This election is going to be different. And yet 60 plus years later, Black people are still and I would ask Black people when I would go to these Black Lives Matter rallies, how many more generations are you willing to sacrifice to the vacuous promises of the Democrat Party?
Yeah. And that's absolutely true. And you could even use that example in Philadelphia, right? You don't even have to go to D.C. Look at the before, and to her credit, Cheryl Park, when she came in, made changes to law enforcement. Crime went down. Crime's down this year as well. So you have to give her credit for there. But who was her predecessor? Jim, Kenney, who I'm sure was probably a white hippie at some point in his life. And what did he do? He oversaw the tenure when he was mayor of the historic levels of homicides in the city, and he didn't want to do anything about it. And Mayor Parker came in and was going to say, like, we're bringing in more law enforcement officers, we're bringing in police. Shocker, right? More police officers patrolling equals less crime. Who knew? Like, it's only like, the millennia of human civilization to figure this out. So the fact that this, it's just, there's like this, the Trump administration is more common sense than, Kenney or Democrats or anything. And they're taking, this crime seriously and making it safer. Why anyone would be upset? Well, like you said, how many people have to die? How many people did die unnecessarily because Democrat politicians wanted to adhere to their neo-Marxist beliefs that just radicalized everything and made things worse than do what they were supposed to do as elected officials.
I know. Black people should be real pissed because if this could be done in 9 days, guess what? This could have been done 10 years ago, 20 years ago, right? Yeah. Maybe your son would still be alive today if we actually took, and again, it's just so insane. Black people did not come up with the concept of defund the police. It's stupid.
White liberals came up with
white liberals living behind gated communities, living in communities that look more like mine, right? Because let me tell you something. In my community, you best believe the trash is picked up on time. You best believe the police. I'll never forget. Fox News. They would pick me up 2 to 3 times a week for 4 years during the first Trump administration, and they would send a limousine down, and they would drive me all the way up to Manhattan, but they would pick me up very early in the morning. And one morning, very early morning, a limousine was sitting in my driveway, but it was very early in the morning. And the police drove by and went and carted my limousine driver, right? That's the community I live in, right? Because we understand we want the safety, right? So why on God's green earth would we all come around as a nation and say, let's defund the police? But not in my community, but in those communities that need it the most.
Exactly. And that's the biggest hypocrisy out of all this thing is their rhetoric, their policies, their ideologies, their principles or lack thereof have caused irreparable harm for generations to Black people, to not even just people living in poor communities that have a lot of crime. I grew up in South Philadelphia. I was, I don't know if you're familiar with, like, on Oregon Avenue, I was 2 years ago, I was teaching a karate class at Shin Karate on 7th Oregon. There was a drive-by shooting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, like 100 feet from where we were, in a school full of young children. And it doesn't, and you said, it doesn't have to be this way. Look at the steps the Trump administration, not to repeat myself, they took. And it wasn't even drastic steps. It wasn't like the militarization of police. They just had a presence there. They just showed up. They had checkpoints. Just, you could even say this is probably, a very minimal tactics used to deter crime. Just because of a presence. It's not like they're like going around, walking up and down, parading around.
Exactly.
It's just simple stuff that could be done that Democrats chose
always
not
been
to.
Done.
Yeah,
listen, Black people, they hate you. Poor people, they hate you. They want you to stay poor.
And they want them to be dependent on the government.
They want you to stay poor.
Yes, for sure.
Because I can control you better, right? So these woke, white, stupid, liberal hippies who should be taking a nap, those are all the labeling that Steve Miller did. I'm about to start fangirling over him. I think I may actually go out there and start following him. Okay, guys, you're listening to Kathy Barnett and my friend Chris Tremolia, reporter and editor at Washington Examiner. Go out there, Washington Examiner, find him, Chris
Tremolia,
and and follow him. I'll see y'all on the other side.
Shopping for an engagement ring can feel a lot like shopping for a used car. You walk in, you're not sure who to trust, and you're wondering if you're getting the real deal or a good sales pitch. That's why people are turning to Family and Company Jewelers. They're changing the game with full transparency, no pressure, no commissions, and now every piece of jewelry in the showcase has the price right there on display. No surprises, no haggling, just real value from our friends at Family and Company Jewelers. Doing things right. Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey.
The working families of Lyon and Labor's District Council of Pennsylvania, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are proud contributors to all aspects of growth in this great city. The Labor's District Council provides safe, well-trained, productive workers who enable projects to be done on time and under budget. We appreciate our signatory contractors and their commitment to fairness and equality. Laborers, we're building a better future today.
Brought to you by the Laborers District Council Licit Fund.
The most important phone call you'll make in retirement is 800-722-9728. It's your retirement lifeline. Call 800-722-9728 to begin your crash-proof retirement. No fees, no market risk, and principal protection. And every penny you earn is yours to keep. That's 800-722-9728 to learn more about the exclusive crash-proof retirement system, which has withstood nearly 2 decades of market volatility and has never lost a penny of our over 6,000 clients' nest eggs. It's the way retirement should be: safe, secure, and crash-proof. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Adelphia Restaurant on September 16th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Are you guys surprised in all this talk about federalizing everything, all the unsafe cities, that Philadelphia is not mentioned?
It's always New York or D.C. or Chicago. D.C. is 61 square feet, and they have approximately 3,500 cops. We are approximately 140 square feet and barely have more than that.
We're so far down with the vacancy rate,
Yep.
which was inherited by this current mayor. You hear others talk about it, but there's not the defiance by this mayor that you see from the other cities.
Yeah. Are we chalking up silence as a win, as silence as progress?
Well, I don't know.
I guess it can't get worse.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hire comedian Joe Conklin for corporate events, golf outings, and private parties.
Yo, this is Tom Sapwager from Schreiner Tree Care out in King of Prussia. We had Joe Conklin, and we did not stop laughing for the whole show.
Hey, this is George Wolf. We've had Joe Conklin at our events for the last 3 years. People keep coming back in droves.
Hi, this is Al Morgani from the Dave the Geese Foundation in Medford. We hired Joe Conklin. He arrived drunk, and things went downhill from there.
Hire Joe Conklin for your next event. Go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today at 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
Hey! This is my playlist, guys. I'm sharing my playlist with you.
I am not claiming this playlist.
Yes.
This is Black Eyed Peas, right?
Black Eyed Peas. Yeah. Yes.
Can I take you guys behind the scenes real quick? Because earlier, Kathy requested that we play the song in her rotation, but the phrase she used was, I got some throwbacks to add to the rotation. Kathy, this came out in 2010. Is 2010 really throwback music now?
God. Yeah.
Oh, my
Absolutely.
God.
I know. We're old. I know. So this is me, guys. Imagine, because I've been taking up heels. I've been finding wherever there are large, high heels, those are the ones I've been attacking. So I'm playing this music to pump me up to take that heel. Yes. I'm gonna be right on this news right here. Chris, thank you so much for being here and in studio with me, reporter and editor at Washington Examiner. I want to pivot real quick to, speaking of white
liberals,
stupid, hippie, liberals, communists who should be taking a nap, all the labels that Steve Miller applied to these people. Listen to Cracker Barrel's CEO, Julie Felsz,
I think so.
speak.
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing. I'll give you another soundbite. I actually happened to be in Orlando last week with all of our managers. We bring them together once every other year. And the number one question that I got asked, Michael, was, how can I get a remodel? When can I get a remodel? How do I get on the list?
That's a lie.
So because
things that never happen for 500,
so
Alex.
good, not only from our customers but from our team members. They want to work in a wonderful restaurant. So.
That's a lie.
Oh, gosh.
That's a lie, people.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT to see the logo. And Sean Farish, I think, put it best this morning, Kathy. In the new logo, they lost both the cracker and the barrel.
I know, right? It's so crazy. This did not happen. No one said, "Hey, Cracker Barrel, get rid of the white man sitting next
to a barrel, right?
Yeah, yeah. The white man sitting next to a barrel." No, said no one ever.
Right, yeah, no. 5 years from now, and people who aren't really familiar with Cracker Barrel drive by and see, they're going to think it's like a barrel store or something, and not like it's like a restaurant.
It is stupid. You know, the old logo, because I love going to Cracker Barrel, and I actually sit in those rocking chairs outside. I mean, it's like a throwback to simpler times when life was easier.
Right, yeah.
It's real nostalgic. You have comfort food on the inside. I always went shopping, because they always have like the retail store up in the front, and they always have these feel-good, wholesome, clean kind of feeling, and I'm a country girl at heart, and now it goes to, now this new one is sterile, it looks soulless, so instead of just pushing biscuits, now they're pushing more woke ideology and a bunch of lies.
Like, this screams gluten-free or something. You know?
It screams gluten-free. Nothing that people like you and I will want to go to, right? I want a biscuit.
Clientele wanting to go for, like, I just want to know who asked for this. Who was sitting in Cracker Barrel and said, it would be a good idea. Let's get rid of our, iconic logo.
And make it sterile.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to, I'm all for renovating and making things better, but this is sterile and stupid. It's like a bizarre case of brand suicide. Like, how can we murder ourselves? Oh, I know.
Did they ever? I never even heard a reason why they decided to do this. Like
She just told you. The employees were begging for it, Chris.
Yeah, well, maybe they were begging for a change, but were they begging for like bland? I mean, who was just going around saying, "Yeah"? I don't know.
When I walk into Cracker Barrel, I want my biscuit to taste like a biscuit.
Right?
I want to know, just by looking at it, I just gained 5 pounds. But to your point, this looks like gluten-free. This looks like it's going to taste funny.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, my goodness. It's so crazy. So I want to pivot from that. I want to go right over to Sean Duffy. I'm telling you guys, I don't fangirl, but I'm beginning to crush hard on some of these people. Not really. So calm down, husband, if you're listening to this. I'm not crushing on nobody. But they're speaking my language. I was waiting for someone. Oh my God. I don't even know if you have this one, Dan, ready. But if you can find it, remember that AG who was talking about, I'm an AG.
Oh, the Rhode Island
AG.
women? Oh, God, yes.
That's later. I was so happy when he slammed the door in her face.
That was
when he
best.
put her in cuffs, when they almost body slammed the other girl. I was like, yes, make law and order sexy again. I love it.
It was just, then when they closed the door, when she was like, I'm an A. It's just like, it was beautiful.
I'm sure you guys saw that. But before we go there, I want to go to cut number 30.
Been brought to the nation's attention with this crash, but this is something that the department has been working on for months. Again, we're concerned that we have too many people who have come into the country. They might have even gotten work permits, and they can't speak the language, and they're getting full-term CDLs. That's exactly what Washington did for this driver, giving him a full-term CDL. By the way, Charlie, that's reserved for American truck drivers, American citizens to have that full-term CDL. And then California gave the same a CDL to him as well when his Washington one expired. But here's the real problem. We came out in May and said, listen, English only, our English proficiency for truck drivers is critical for safety. And now some of the left gave us blowback and they gave us pushback and they said we were being too harsh. They were anti-immigrant. And we said, no, this is about safety. You have to be able, as a truck driver, to understand the road signs, but also if you're pulled over, you have to be able to communicate whether you're at a weigh station or with law enforcement. What's on your load? What are you carrying? Where are you going? Where are you coming from? You have to be able to communicate with law enforcement. And so this driver was pulled over in New Mexico last month in July. After our initiative was fully in the works, and they failed in New Mexico and they pulled him over for speeding to give him the English test. And had they done that, they would have put his vehicle out of service and taken him off the road. But because they didn't follow our directive, he went back on the road and was able to commit this horrific crash.
I'm telling you, I was pissed. I still feel pissed. I feel emotional. When I think about, this could have been my family. And you guys remember, we all saw it. This guy, illegal, Indian, can't speak the language, looked like he had no emotions whatsoever. And he does this stupid, crazy U-turn on a freeway. And then a family of 3 driving dies.
Yeah.
And I heard no lies with what Sean Duffy said, Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy said, English only. This is America. You don't like it, then go back to where you came from. Period. We have to do a better job of assimilating people into this country. You don't come over here and think you're going to speak your language only, think you're going to live according to your value system from the country you just fled from. If you like it so much, go back.
Yeah, no, this has been a thing for a while. I remember Joey Vento at Gino's Steaks did this, I think, probably when that Black Eyed Peas song came out in 2010 or something. It was around there. There was this huge controversy in Philadelphia that they were trying to say, oh, it's racist, it's bigoted. Again, common sense, white liberals getting angry over more crime and protecting people from crime. White liberals getting upset that you want to speak English in the country where we speak English. It's like going over to Italy and getting, upset that they're not speaking, they're only speaking, you want to speak English and they speak Italian. Or go to another country. No other countries do this. I mean, they have, once you're in your country, the things are written, they may appeal to tourism and have things in English because it's the language of the world, so to speak. But yeah, this shouldn't even be controversial. Why would you need your employees to speak the language of the company you're working for? I wouldn't go over to Italy and working at a whatever company there and get mad that they needed me to learn Italian. You would expect that.
They don't really care about these people.
No, they don't. There's just something to get angry about.
Because it's powerful, right? They understand these white, stupid, hippie liberals who need to go take a nap. They understand that this gives them power. It allows them to be able to force their agenda, their way, their will, their opinion onto other people. And it has worked. So as much as I would like to just crack jokes on these stupid white hippie liberals who need to go take a nap.
Don't forget the communist part.
Communists, I know. Add that in there too. I would love to just be able to, to mean them to death. But we saw over the past, it's been a while. This has been in the works for some time. But from 2020 on, we saw the power that this has. And what they're doing is that they're using the guilt of a nation that owns slaves. They're using that to guilt us because it's powerful. It's clearly powerful. If you don't allow 20 million illegals to walk right into your country, you don't know who these people are, what they're about, or any of that. If you don't allow it, if you disagree with it, you're a racist. You're a xenophobe. If you don't allow men in dresses who clearly has a mental health issue to come and gyrate in front of your 5-year-old while they're putting dollar bills into their G-string, hey, you are racist. So they're using the history of America, the history of slavery in America to shut the rest of us down and forcing us to accept things and behaviors we would never otherwise accept.
Absolutely. And they've been doing it for a while, for decades. It's predicated on their entire political and socio-cultural platforms. It's just this revisionist weaponizing of history to demean people that have done that every civilization throughout history has committed these sins. Yet ours are amplified as a way to kind of discredit Republicans, conservatives, Western civilization, all these things, just so they can score political points and get, try to persuade people that it's not their fault. It's they have like societal forces that have, created these things. And it's not. I mean, they are just trying to get power by making others feel resentful.
Yeah. There's a reason why these people are trying to get into our country by hook or by crook. Right? I can assure you, 20 million people aren't trying to sneak into China unless they're coming out of North Korea, right? And there's a reason why these people want to come into our country. I understand that. We're the best. Yes. We're the greatest. Muhammad Ali is what I'm thinking of, right? I'm the best. I'm the greatest. We get that, right? But these people are living in these backwood countries with these dictators because they're not like us. Right? So, and I don't care if you feel some kind of way about it. The fact is, in 1776, a group of very brilliant men and women came together and said, we no longer want to be ruled by a dictator. And we did the hard work of freeing this country and creating a space for generations. I'm a part of that generation, right? So instead of fleeing over to this country, all of these working age men, these young, healthy, military-age men who are fleeing from their backwood country to come into our country, why don't you get together and do what we did in 1776 and make your country great again, right?
Exactly.
And if you don't like what I'm saying, then don't come.
Right.
But don't call me a racist or xenophobic.
The people that make those comments that say I love the fife and drum going on in the background here too. I wanted to give a side there to Dan, but the things speaking of actually fife and drum, so on 4th of July, I don't know if they do it anymore, but the city of Philadelphia would have around that time they had the Welcome America festivals, and one of the events that they used to have is they would have like an immigration naturalization ceremony. And a few years ago, I was writing for National Review, and they had one at Betsy Ross' house, and it was maybe between 10 and 20 immigrants that were coming over that were getting naturalized on July 4th, which is like, pretty much the coolest patriotic thing you could do on July 4th. And I went up to them afterwards, and it was a family from Nigeria who had immigrated from Nigeria to here.
Right.
And I asked them, and this was probably in the height of around the Kaepernick thing, the NFL kneeling, all this stuff, America's racist, blah, blah, blah. I asked them, I was like, what is, why would you come here? Or what do you think about this country of all the things people are saying about, how racist it is and you're African coming over here? What do you say? And he just refuted everything. He's like, no, I'm bringing my family here. This is the greatest country. These people don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's just that's the kind of thing. If you talk to people who are trying to come here and get their perspective, it's an entirely different perspective than the white, liberal, hippie, communist, wealthy Martha Vineyard,
need to take a nap.
Need to take a nap. Living behind gated communities.
White hippies.
We're going to ignore them. But it's so true. I know we got a lot going on here, people, but it's so true.
Yes.
I've been in the military, having the opportunity to travel all across the world with the military. When you're in the military, you don't go to the resort communities within these countries, right? The ones that they scrub down and clean up so that people can go and spend their money there. No. When you're in the military, you go, again, behind the curtains and you really get to see, right? And as a young Black girl traveling over to many parts of the world, it was an eye-opener. And it began the process of me realizing just what value, what gem we have in America.
Absolutely.
And that I want to protect it, right? And so I don't care if you call me names. I don't care what your opinion is. I'm right, you're wrong. We're going to be right back on the other side.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. Open Phone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. Open Phone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/free. openphone.com/FREE.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. I've been talking about myself for all these years. Now it's time for you to hear from one of our great clients.
Investor Schooling lives up to the promises. Larry's a great teacher, teaches about the whole new approach to thinking about money. I've taken to heart many of the things that he's taught me, and my financial life has improved.
Come to Investor Schooling, and you could be just like Charlie and change your financial life. Go to investorschooling.com. We will see you Thursday.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Football fans don't just watch the game, they live it. From pregame rituals to postgame celebrations, PNC is proud to be presenting sponsor of the Eagles Radio Network and a devoted fan just like you. Fans who show up in full force in every kind of weather, because keeping your finances boring allows you to make exciting memories full of face paint, tailgates, and all the things that make game day. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
But fundamentally, I think the American people have to stand with us here, because when we go and tell the governor of California or the governor of New York that you have to stop putting the interests of illegal aliens over American citizens, we need the American people to stand with us. And I think that they will. I think that they are. But we're definitely not going to let this slide, Laura. You can't do it. You've got to stop putting the interests of foreigners who don't have the right to be here over the interests of American citizens. That is the entire point and purpose of the Democratic Party. If you go back to the election of 2024, what was the big issue? The big issue was illegal immigration. They were actually defending the rights of illegal immigrants to come into our country, to vote in our elections, to collect Social Security and Medicaid that ought by right go to American citizens, to say nothing of housing. This is actually the biggest driver of housing costs in some of these big blue cities, is that they've flooded the zone with illegal immigrants. As we've kicked illegal aliens out of our country, you actually see housing costs start to level off. So fundamentally, the difference between Republicans and Democrats is we care about American citizens. They actually don't like American citizens and want to replace them with low-wage foreigners. It's a very stark difference, and I think the American people are going to continue to reward us because of it.
You know what? He said it perfectly. Now, I said it more succinct. I just said Democrats hate you. But he said it with you know, like with that Harvard degree, vice president stature and polish to it. But if you narrow that down, they just hate you.
Really? No, they do. And Vance was correct and pointed out an important thing, because look at what they've done since Trump has been president. There was all the crime. Like, look at the attention they gave. Was that Abrego Garcia?
Yeah.
You know, they flew down to, you know,
El Salvador.
They're visiting all these ICE detention
centers. Is he okay?
Centers.
Are they okay?
Why are we worrying about people that are going around killing people, human trafficking, you know, committing these horrible, violent crimes? And the Democrats aren't caring about the victims. They're not visiting the families of victims. They're not visiting the families of Laken Riley or Rachel Marin. They're going to make sure the people that are detained are being treated okay. And it's just, I mean, that's kind of, you can't get more than that when you're talking about what their priorities are, is that they just don't really care about the American people. And Trump has shown that he does. And that's the whole thing behind the Make America Great Again movement, is he wants to do that. And they hate him for it. And that's the thing. And the Democrats hate him because they don't want to do that. They want Americans to be suffering and not. And they want.
They do. They do.
They just want,
you cannot. Now listen. Again, I'm black, so that means the overwhelming majority of my family are Democrats. Right? Not my husband. I would have never married him. But outside of my own little house, they're all Democrats, and they're good people. They're good people. They're great people. They're some of the best people. But those people are just, I love them. God bless them. But they've been manipulated, right? But the puppet masters are the ones who understand exactly what it is they're doing, and they hate us.
That's like I brought up the thing about them visiting the detention centers. Look at what we were talking about when we first started this at 10 o'clock. They're going down worrying about the criminals. They're upset that police and law enforcement are taking criminals off the street
in D.C.
Yeah, like why? Who thinks like this, and why do they think like this? Why are they're like the criminal class? They're the criminal political party, and it's just like why they want to do this instead of worrying about the welfare of American or just the welfare of humanity. Forget just Americans, anything. They're just more concerned with the criminals and the violent people and those causing harm in community.
These stupid white hippies that all need to go home and take a nap
because they're old and
exactly.
stupid. I see y'all on the other side. Chris, thank you so much for being here.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Is your AC struggling this summer? Trying to put off replacement for another year? No need to wait. CNC Heating and Air Conditioning will install your new unit now, and you can pay later. Right now, qualified customers get 0% financing and no payments until 2027. That's right, no payments until 2027. As York certified comfort experts, they're the name you can trust. And your estimate? Absolutely free. Call CNC Heating and Air Conditioning today or visit cc-hvac.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/radio to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio. HIMS.com/RADIO.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to protecting your home, trust matters. Trust is everything. That's why I use and only recommend Emmons Roofing and Siding. They've been doing it right for over 35 years. Emmons is family-owned, local, and reliable. So whether you need roofing, siding, windows, or doors, Emmons has you covered. And as an Owens Corning Platinum contract contractor. They offer lifetime warranties on the roof. So call 855-4EMMONS or visit callemmons.com today. Peace of mind is just a call away. Tell them I sent you.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Don Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Like, take that, take that, take that, take that. What's up, Pennsylvania? This is your girl, Kathy Barnett. I am sitting in for my double good girlfriend, Dawn Stensland, on the Dawn Stensland Show. You're listening to the #1 talk radio station in Philadelphia, but we also cover New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland. I get phone calls from Ohio, from Michigan, from Tennessee. So what's up, y'all? Thank you so much for listening. And that first hour was a doozy. It was one for the record books. And now we're going into the second hour here. And I have someone I would love to call a very close friend one day very soon. I love following him and watching what it is that he's doing. He has educated me so much about the culture war and what's really happening out there. Andy No, how are you, sir?
Hello, thank you for having me on, Ms. Barnett.
Yes, absolutely. Andy No is the New York Times bestseller of the book Unmasked: Inside Antifa's Radical Plan to Destroy Democracy. Andy, you popped up on the screen for me maybe 5 years ago. And it was a scene out of a horror flick of you. I don't know if it was Milkshake that was on you, but you were in the midst. I don't know if you were in Seattle or somewhere over there on the East Coast, on the West Coast, but you had been attacked, and it was a horrific attack. And I began to see you over the years come out through that and articulate clearly for us the dangers, the unique dangers of Antifa. Can you remind us about that day?
Yes, it was in 2019 in Portland, Oregon, which is where I'm originally from, and I was beaten by a mob of Antifa whilst reporting on one of their many protests turned riots, and they punched me and kicked me so severely that I suffered a brain bleed. And during that assault on the mob also threw all these drinks on me, which is the photos from that time document that.
Right.
So I've experienced their violence myself personally several times, unfortunately. And I think what the public needs to know about Antifa is that they are a violent extremist, far-left, communist, anarchist movement and ideology and network of cells of people who are seeking to destroy America by any means necessary. And they use violence to achieve those goals. And in certain jurisdictions where Democrats are in power, like Portland and many urban areas around the United States, they effectively have somewhat of a free rein to terrorize people and to deny them of their civil rights.
You said violent. Antifa is a violent, extremist, far left group. Their aim is to destroy America. But I remember back in 2020, we were told they were, our white children, our young white children who want to stop fascism and save America. That sounds very different from what you're describing.
We were told and are told many lies about the far left, even the violent far left, because legacy media is generally captured, and there are people who are either sympathetic to those goals of the far left or are actually fellow travelers, unfortunately. The deception of Antifa is they want moderates and liberals to think that they are just fighting fascism, which is a big lie. What they actually do is on the streets. They don masks and black clothing and carry weapons like melee weapons, as well as guns and knives and other deadly weapons, and go out, riot, start fires, assault citizens, assault law enforcement, attack infrastructure, carry out domestic terrorist attacks. There were just now over 15 people in northern Texas who are facing attempted murder and domestic terrorism charges, both locally as well as federal charges, for a shooting attack on an ICE facility. And those extremists are alleged to be part of a far-left Antifa type of militia group. And very few people have probably even heard of this, even though it was a FBI most wanted case and Texas top 10 most wanted. So the media covers for them at any and every turn, even when they've killed people. In 2020, during the riots in Portland, and not just in Portland, but other cities that did hundreds of millions in damage to the economy, there were people that were killed.
Now, just like, as an American citizen, my First Amendment gives me the freedom of speech. However, I cannot walk into a crowded theater and scream fire. We have decided as a nation that causes harm. It is not a good thing. Why is it that we, having the history that we have now, the cumulative history from 2020, 2019 to today, why are we not saying that what we are seeing with Antifa, black mask, their faces all masked up, they're in black attire, walking around creating mayhem? We have many years now of information that tells us this is not good, this is dangerous. It's not freedom of expression. What is stopping us as politicians or Americans of saying, wait a minute, this is not a good thing. We need to say no to this. You can't walk around with your face all masked up.
I think the liberal media machine is so powerful that it continues to incite Trump derangement syndrome to the point where people who dislike the current administration turn a blind eye to the excesses on their own side, or they are in denial about it. And you're right, it's been going on for a very long time. I've been reporting on Antifa since election night 2016. That's a really long time ago. And that was the first time I saw Antifa up front, face-to-face, destroying property and starting fires. So that's why I initially spent many years going out and taking video. I didn't do too much writing early on in my journalism career. I did the videos because I wanted people to see with their own eyes what was actually happening. Eventually, that's why I became targeted, and many of my colleagues and peers in independent media have been violently assaulted, robbed, because Antifa view, they say your camera is a weapon. That's like one of their slogans. They believe that journalists who actually do reporting on them are a threat to them. So they attack them, they issue death threats, and we are just sort of left entirely on our own. We get no institutional support from these journalist organizations. And of course, those in liberal media never condemn those type of threats that come from the violent far left or Antifa.
This brought me so much joy. Do you have that video, Dan, available? This brought me so much joy when I went on your page last night and I saw this video that you posted.
Gotta give me 1 second on that one, just because I gotta get the censored version out there. Yeah.
Yes, we have to get the censored version out. But it warmed my heart to see black people saying, hell to the no. We don't want Antifa in our communities. Black people are waking up, and it just brought me so much joy.
Ask you to turn off the body cam. You have to turn it off.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Here we go. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
And here you go, Kath. Here we go.
Hey, get out of here! Get out of here! Go scram! 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 Get out of here! Go scram! Scram! Scram!
So if you're watching on YouTube, Yeah, thank you. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the actual video there, but it's Black people coming out and forcing Antifa. Usually it's the opposite, Andy. You see Antifa showing up and all hell breaking loose. But in this video, you see Black people showing up saying, get the you-know-what out of our community. And Antifa looking like the little wimpy kids, theater kids that they are, or hanging their head down and walking away.
So that video was recorded on the 19th of August in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, New York. Antifa and other far-left extremists have put out flyers online trying to agitate for a riot on a night meant to honor an anniversary of a death of a young Black child that died decades ago, Gavin Cato, in 1991, in which sparked the deadly race riots in Crown Heights. And Antifa went there to try to agitate for race riots again on this evening, and they were not welcomed by the people who lived there locally. And I think white liberals have a certain guilt where they are tolerating all manner of sort of violence and destruction in community, like what happened in Portland 5 years ago during the riots by BLM. But Black communities seeing white people who are hooded and masked coming in and are a foreign presence essentially to their community, they're not okay with that. And they have no problem with pushing them out, which is what this video showed and why it went viral, because people were very happy to see people push back against this extremist movement.
Yeah, it brought me a lot of joy. Andy, no, you have a bestseller book, on a New York Times bestselling book, Unmasked, Inside Antifa's Radical Plan to Destroy Democracy. I would encourage each of you to go out there and get that. But I'm assuming a lot of what we've been talking about is what's in your book.
Yes. I go into details of particularly how 2020 happened and the ideology and history of Antifa. And they have remobilized and are agitating for more political violence currently under the against President Trump and his administration.
Thank you so much for being on, Andy.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, blessings. Okay, guys, listen, here's the call-in number, 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210, and I'm gonna be right back.
Imagine if today was the day your idea changed someone's life. Imagine if you could help someone pay for college, help your community build a new playground, or help a child make it to that dream competition. With GoFundMe, it's all possible. GoFundMe is the world's #1 fundraising platform trusted by over 200 million people. Every week, ordinary people meet their goals and do extraordinary things. Your ideas matter. GoFundMe isn't just for emergencies. Want to raise money for your kid's soccer team or raise funds for a small business, a creative project, or event? GoFundMe helps you turn ideas into reality. And help adds up. Fundraisers you start for someone else raise up to 5 times more. So think right now, who could use your help? Change rarely comes from waiting. It comes from someone deciding, today I'll start. Don't wait for someone else to bring change. Today, start your fundraiser in just minutes at GoFundMe.com/news. That's GoFundMe.com/news to start your fundraiser. GoFundMe.com/NEWS. This is a commercial message brought to you by GoFundMe.
Hey, pet parents, the summer season is here, and that means it's time to get outside and enjoy some sunshine with your pet. Hi, I'm George Parenti, the lead dog at the Dogs and Cats Rules stores. The stores are loaded with great summer collections of outdoor and interactive toys. We carry the finest selection of fresh diets, like gently cooked, raw, freeze-dried, air-dried, dehydrated, baked, and of course traditional kibble and cans. Dogs and Cats Rule with 7 neighborhood locations. Visit dogsandcatsrule.pet. That's Dogs and Cats Rule. Shop small, shop local, shop family.
Hey Jeff, looks like your business is really booming, even in a tough time for businesses like ours.
Hey Mike. Yeah, thanks to LendSeek, our business was able to take care of some outstanding bills and taxes and to purchase inventory and expand our product lines.
Wow. You know, my business needs working capital, but only from a reputable company that I can trust and count on. How does LendSeek work?
Fast and easy. Just apply at lendseek.com. Their AI lending platform gave my business access to over 100 funding programs with one simple application. And it costs nothing to apply.
At lendseek.com, you can receive business funding with no collateral, no prepayment penalties, and no restrictions on how you use the funds. Whatever your funding needs are, seek no more. Our AI lending marketplace has you covered. If you've been in business at least 1 year with annual revenue of at least $250,000, you could get the funding your business needs in as little as 24 hours. There's no obligation, so apply today at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-220-6409 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-220-6409. That's 800-220-6409. What do you have to lose? Call 800-220-6409. Again, 800-220-6409.
From Chester Springs to Clementon, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
What? Okay, guys, listen. This is Kathy Barnett sitting in for my friend, your friend, Don Stensland on the Don Stensland Show. Here's the call-in number, 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. I wanted to bring Mr. Joe Penland. You guys know him, Joe from Texas. You can find him at joefromtexas.com. He's a builder, a job creator, and straight shooter who's been investing in people and in the Lone Star State of Texas for decades. Joe, welcome.
Good morning, Kathy. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. I wanted to bring you back on today because I found out that you met with recently Speaker Mike Johnson, and I wanted to just get some inside chat on what is he thinking. I mean, there's a lot to be done. Donald Trump has been doing most of the heavy lifting with executive orders, but specifically around immigration, the border. You have talked extensively about your immigration tariff. What was the conversation like with him on those particular issues that matter?
Well, it was a very good conversation. He's very gracious to give me the time that he gives me because he's extremely busy. But we talked extensively about Social Security, getting a commission like Ronald Reagan did in 1981 to put 15 people to work on this to get it some things back to the president so he could get it voted on in his term. We talked about immigration, the tariff on getting a tariff for immigration here in the country. So those two things was our number one and number two conversation. And he also visited about immigration and he visited about Social Security when he was talking to the whole group of people both nights.
Yeah. Good, because we have some problems. I think it was you who told me earlier this week that back in FDR's time when Social Security was enacted, that we had, 400 plus people paying into Social Security for every one person drawing Social Security. And today is 2.5 people paying into Social Security for every one person drawing out.
It was 160 to 1.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, 160 to 1. Now we got to about 2.4 paying in for every one. So, we've outgrown the program. There's no two ways about it. It's your money. It's not the government's money. The government has not put any money into Social Security except to administer Social Security, which is a very small number. They spend about $5 billion a year to send out $1.4 trillion worth of money back to the American people who put it in, and their employers matched it.
Why do you care so much about the state of Social Security?
Well, if Social Security takes a 25% cut in 7 years, that's going to double the poverty rate for elderly people in this country. There'll be 80 million people on it in just a short period of time. There'll be 85 million people on it if we let it play out. And if you have 85 million people take a 25% cut, that's actually going to devastate this economy because they spend their money. They go out to eat, they go to a movie, they play a round of golf. You say, well, those things are not a necessity. It is to your economy. You let the restaurants shut down. The waiters and the waitresses are going to all feel that effect. We need that money. We need that $1.4 trillion being spent in the economy every year. That turns over 7 times in the local economy. That's how you get yourself out of the hole. We don't want that to go away. That's not an entitlement. They paid it in. The government's holding it. It's like you putting your money in the bank, Kathy, and you go to get it out. You're entitled to get it out because you put it in. So somebody might say that's an entitlement. I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either. But I remember the first time I met you, I was over there bawling as you were. I was between laughing and bawling because you were telling a story of your own childhood and why Social Security matters to you. That part was very serious, but the part I was bawling about was when your cousin wanted to steal your bike and you punched him. But about your father and how you grew up, you are, this country has been very good to you. God has been very good to you and your family. You are not hurting for money, but you remember the days when you didn't have enough food and watching your father.
Well, we didn't have enough food to eat in the 50s. My dad had a stroke in 1957. He died a few years later. Unfortunately, he was a alcoholic. He drank up everything past what we had to get by with every day. He wasn't a bad father for us, mean to us, but he didn't save anything. And 2 weeks after he was sick, we didn't have enough in the house to eat. So my mother started taking in laundry from the neighbors and so forth. And that Social Security kept us eating. She made enough to pay the light bill and the gas bill and the water bill and put some clothes on us, but we didn't have enough to eat. And we looked forward every month. She'd say, watch for the mailman, Joe. So when he showed up, I'd run into the house with the check, and she'd get cleaned up, and we'd walk to the store. She'd pay our bill, cash the check and pay her bill, and get an armload of groceries, and that was her proudest day of the month. She didn't know anybody.
Right. Look at that. And I love having you on talking about these particular, immigration and talking about Social Security, because quite frankly, these two issues are not really being talked about. Yes, we're talking about ICE grabbing people and getting them out of our country, but we're not talking about the greater issue of immigration policies, the fact that we have 1 million jobs that are looking for people to work, and that eventually we're going to have to open up the borders of this nation. We're not really talking about Social Security because it's not the hot topic, right? The algorithms aren't feeding people to talk about it. But I bring you on because because we have to have these conversations, and I want to plant the seeds for when we do start talking about these things again.
Well, I appreciate you having us on. It's always good to get out there because you got a lot of people listen to you, and I appreciate that, Kathy. But we're fixing to start a tour, kind of like Tucker Carlson did, on a little bit smaller scale, but it's going to be strictly on Social Security, and it's not going to cost you anything to come. You won't have to buy a ticket, and we'll be in about 25 different cities across the nation. And the former Comptroller General of the United States, Dave Walker, will be with me. He was a Social Security trustee. He was with Reagan. He was a Reagan appointee. He was a Bush appointee, and he was a Clinton appointee. And he was also there when we balanced our budget 4 times and paid it down twice with Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich. So he's got a lot of experience, and we're going to lay it out where Social Security is, where it's going, and how we can fix it.
I love it. Thank you so much, Mr. Joe Penland. You guys can find out more about Joe and what it is that he's doing by going to joefromtexas.com. Blessings.
Thank you.
I adore him. He's
nice
like,
guy.
he is. He's like I had really great grandfathers in my life as a young girl. And every time I talked to him or just when I was in his presence, it just gave off those vibes. It reminded me of my own grandparents and the role they played in my life.
I love the accent too.
Oh, Southern. We love Southern.
The Southern accent and the mustache. I don't know if he still has a mustache, but it's probably a top 3 mustache that comes on 1210 WPHT.
I love the wisdom. That's what he reminds me of my grandparents. The wisdom, right? Like you knew things kind of slowed down and people talked to you from a perspective of, like you just knew you needed to sit and listen, be quiet, get still, listen. You're about to learn some things. So I love talking to him. That was Joe from Texas, Joe from Texas.com. I see y'all on the other side.
Weather sponsored by Duke's Mayonnaise.
We'll see a little bit of rain this evening with intermittent showers overnight, down to 64. Tomorrow, clouds, high of 74. Friday's supposed to be beautiful. Sunshine, high 83. Pretty much same for Saturday, high 84. We might see a few clouds on Sunday.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Hey, Dawn Stensland here. Your dream kitchen or bath starts with family, the Kitchen Magic family. Yeah, Kitchen Magic, they are second-generation family-owned company with more than 45 years of experience remodeling kitchens and baths. And they proudly make all their cabinets in the USA, so they're tariff-proof and built to last. Right now, you can save up to 30% off cabinets through August. Choose the experts your neighbors trust. KitchenMagic.com. Schedule your free consultation. Kitchen Magic. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
It's the perfect time to get inside a new Toyota at Tri-County Toyota. Right now during the national sales event, lease a new 2025 Tacoma 4-wheel drive, double cab SR5 for just $259 a month for 36 months. Or buy and get rates as low as 3.75 for 48 months. Or check out the new 2025 Grand Highlander Hybrid and lease for $499 a month for 36 months. Or finance at 5.99% for 60 months. Visit us online at TriCountyToyota.com to see more.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/free. openphone.com/FREE.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. How many times are you going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com? I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life.
Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Free speech in Philly on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
What's up, Pennsylvania? Thank you so much for listening in. Oh my goodness. Again, the time goes by so quickly, but it's nice when you have good friends, right? You lose track of time, and we've had some wonderful guests on this entire week, and my next guest is along those same lines. So informative. Gordon Chang, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, Kathy, and thank you so much.
No, thank you so much for being on. Gordon Chang is a China analyst, a lawyer, journalist, author of the book Plan Red, China's project to destroy America. They are very serious about it. But I reached out to you. I texted you, Gordon, once I watched your interview on Epoch Times Thought Leader. You were sitting there talking about, the state of China right now. I've been hearing for years now that China's economy is about to collapse. Everything is going awry. But I had not heard that Xi Jinping's power is waning, that he's losing control. I just actually started hearing about this, and then I tuned into you speaking on this particular podcast. Can you expound on that? Is this another one of those, China's about to fall, their economy is about to fall, but it never does?
Well, right now we know that Xi Jinping has lost influence. That's not to say that he's going to be tossed out of Beijing, but it does mean he's got some problems. And I tend to think that he has lost either control or a lot of influence over the Chinese military, and he's lost some influence among China's civilians. Now, there are a lot of people from a lot of different independent sources that are reporting that Xi Jinping is in serious trouble. We don't know what to make of this, Kathy, but clearly something is up.
And, another thing, and when I heard that, just like when I heard about his economy, the economy in China is struggling, and now I'm hearing he's losing control of the military, he's losing influence among the Chinese population. It makes me feel as though this is not a time where we celebrate, but this is probably one of the most dangerous moments in history, because generally what history shows us is when people like Xi Jinping gets in trouble, well, now they have to start deflecting. And this is usually when they create problems for the world, like a world war.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that Xi Jinping believes that war is in his interest, not because he thinks he can rally the Chinese people. The Chinese people do not want war. But I think that he thinks war is in his interest because it will prevent other senior Communist Party figures from challenging him. The issue here, Kathy, is can Xi Jinping give an order to the Chinese military? Are they going to listen to him? And that is where there's a lot of disagreement, because some smart people say that he's still in control and as strong as ever. Other people say, no, he's not. But the point is, there is turbulence. And when there is turbulence, you're absolutely right about that. regimes go and they lash out. The other thing is they cannot deal constructively with the world, which is, I think, part of the reason why we're seeing China not make some important decisions. It's because there is too much turmoil in the leadership for them to act as they normally do, which is with consensus.
And what do you mean by that they cannot deal constructively with the world? Are you talking specifically about what's going on between Russia and Ukraine, as Donald Trump is engaging Putin more and more, and we're heading toward a peace deal? It is interesting to me and noteworthy for me that China is not. I mean, I don't hear China talking about Russia and Russia's interests. And we know over the past 4 years under the Biden administration, Russia and China had cozied up to one another and was making all kinds of deals and intertwining themselves into each other's business. Now, all of a sudden, China is really quiet, kind of quiet. I'm not hearing a whole lot.
Well, there's two separate stories. One of it is China and Russia and Ukraine, and the other is what China is doing in its periphery, in its peripheral seas, which is engaging in some very belligerent conduct. And by what I mean that it can't act constructively is if one of the incidents, especially if an incident against the Philippines goes bad, China will not be able to talk to the world and work out a constructive solution. So if an incident occurs, it is going to spiral downward. And right now, China is really angry at the Philippines because two Chinese ships collided in Scarborough Shoal 2 Mondays ago. Beijing was humiliated, and now China is ramping up pressure on the Philippines. This, I think, is one of the most dangerous spots in the world, if not the most dangerous. With regard to Ukraine, it's a different story. China has been quiet. But we do know one thing, and that is on July 2nd, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, speaking to his EU counterpart, Kaja Kallas, said that China does not want Russia to lose the war because if Russia loses the war, then the U.S. will be able to focus on China in East Asia. So China's been doing everything to keep Russia in the war, including providing soldiers to the battlefront. And that means China is a combatant in Ukraine. And we need to take that into account because so far, neither the Biden or the Trump administrations has been willing to confront that horrible conclusion.
I have not
China
heard
actually
that.
is fighting in Ukraine.
Yeah, I had not heard that.
Yeah, there are somewhere between 100 and 200 Chinese mercenaries. Now, a lot of people who want to make excuses for Beijing say, well, there's no direct relationship between those soldiers and Chinese foreign policy. But those soldiers could not have gotten permission to go to Russia without the knowledge and approval of the Communist Party. But it gets worse, Kathy, because there are actually People's Liberation Army officers at the front in Ukraine. Those are directly Chinese military officers, and they're there. So this is China providing soldiers to Russia. And the reason why this is important is even though the numbers are small now, because if we don't do anything about it, those numbers are going to swell. It's a very bad story.
Yeah. Okay. Now, in 2022, when I was on the campaign trail, on my own campaign trail, running for Senate against Dr. Oz and several others here in the state of Pennsylvania, and then when I jumped onto the campaign trail of Vivek Ramaswamy, everyone, the main talking point when it came to China was China and Taiwan. But you're not now I'm not hearing a whole lot about Taiwan. Instead, I'm beginning to hear more and more about the Philippines. And you're right. And I learned it from you about the very embarrassing situation that happened a couple of weeks ago where the Philippines, very strategic maneuvering, got a Chinese Navy ship, I believe, to run into and to destroy the Chinese Coast Guard ship. Some of their people drowned. They didn't go back to fish them out. Very embarrassing moment. And this, again, could be like that spark of fire that really sets the world on fire. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, because we're all focused on Ukraine. And before that, we were focused on Iran. And before that, we were focused on India and Pakistan. And no one is really talking about what's going on in China with the Philippines.
Yeah, the reason why it's a flashpoint is because China feels humiliated. What happened is a Chinese naval destroyer and a Chinese Coast Guard cutter were pursuing a Philippine Coast Guard cutter and were trying to disable it by ramming it. What happened is, as you point out, the Philippine vessel maneuvered very cleverly. And what happened is the Chinese naval destroyer just sheared off the bow of the Chinese Coast Guard cutter. At least 4 Chinese sailors were in the water. And you pointed out something which is really critical, and that is the destroyer did not go back to render assistance. Somebody rendered assistance. It was the Philippine vessel that was the intended victim of the 2 Chinese craft. The Filipinos went back to see if they could rescue those Chinese sailors. And unfortunately, they didn't find anybody in the water, but at least 4 we know of Chinese sailors did drown.
Well, one would assume that those Chinese sailors are important, right? Like they're valuable. I would hope that if Americans sailors were in the water, that an American Navy ship would turn around and render service and support and not just allow them to die because life is valuable. Why was that not the case with China?
Because life is not valuable to the Chinese Communist Party. The flag of the People's Republic of China is red. That red stands for blood, and the party is willing to spill blood. The party has been responsible for somewhere between, let's say, 35 to 75 million unnatural deaths of Chinese people during the history of the People's Republic. That is the biggest single loss of life, and it's just horrible. Chinese Communist Party, though, revels in killing. And so the loss of 4 sailors is not a matter of consequence to the party.
And they just left their own people out there to drown.
They did.
Now, of course, I don't know if you saw the clip. We played it several times of Stephen Miller at Union Station labeling the white people who are out there protesting against President Trump bringing safety to D.C. He labeled them as communists, white-haired, old hippies who need to go take a nap. And those people, if they were listening to you and I right now talk about China not valuing life, would call us a xenophobe, that we're being racist in some sense. Now, you're Chinese, right?
I am.
It doesn't matter. I'm black. And they call me a racist against black people because I don't buy into Black Lives Matter and the incorporated and the victim mentality. So they will still call you a xenophobe and that you hate Chinese people and that you're a racist. They don't seem to agree with us that those people, like many other people, are not like us here in America, and our values, you know, the values that are waning right now, but our value on life and liberty and goodness and protecting the innocence among us. What would you say to that?
Well, first of all, there's been too many charges of racism just thrown around. We've got to understand that the Communist Party of China has weaponized its nationals against the United States. And we need to focus on this, not because of race, but because of what the Communist Party has done. If we don't recognize reality, we could lose our country. So it is important for us, in the defense of the American Republic, to understand what the party is doing. Every Chinese national is under a legal compulsion to spy. That's the 2017 Chinese National Intelligence Law. Requires them to spy if demanded. But more important, Kathy, it's the Communist Party's top-down system, which requires every Chinese national, every Chinese entity to do whatever the party demands. So we have to understand that what the party has done to weaponize its nationals, its companies, its banks, its institutions against us. If we don't do that, we could very well lose our country.
Do you think we can? I mean, I see black people saying, oh, that's so racist on things that has nothing to do with race. Like black people too have fallen, have been captured by this woke ideology where everything is racist. And so therefore you're not allowed to make judgment calls of if something is good or bad or any of that. You just have to sit there like a sheep led to slaughter and hope that all goes well. You're not allowed to make judgments about who we should allow into our country, who we should not allow into our country. We're just supposed to sit there with our eyes wide open, looking like a deer in headlights. Do you think we can, as Americans, say what you just said? Like, that seems very provocative to say national Chinese citizens who we allow to come into our country. You said that the Chinese government has weaponized these people, and that those people Chinese people will allow into our country. If I want to make sure I heard you right, you're saying they are under legal compulsion to spy if commanded by the Chinese government. Is that accurate?
That's accurate. It's Articles 7 and 14 of the 2017 Chinese National Intelligence Law.
That seems
that requires
provocative.
every Chinese national and every Chinese entity to spy if demanded by a relevant authority.
That seems racist.
Well, it is what it is. And that's why we got to recognize reality. But to your broader question, can we recognize and come to our senses? Well, look, we've had an unprecedented surge in black voting for President Trump in the last election. And the reason is that nobody wants to be patronized. Nobody wants to be singled out because of his or her race. And what we are seeing is black voters saying, no, I'm not going to be treated like a member of a racial group as just a member of a racial group. So, yeah, we have the ability to adjust. Now, with regard to Chinese Americans, unfortunately, we have very large segments of the Chinese American community are disloyal to the United States. They exhibit more loyalty to the Communist Party. And I say to fellow Chinese Americans, if you don't want other Americans to question our presence in this country, then we are going to have to show that we are not loyal to an enemy of the United States. And, it's just natural for other Americans to want to know, why are these people in our country if they are so disloyal?
I remember in 2020, the group of people I was running for Congress. I was my first time ever running for office. And my greatest supporters were first generation Chinese people. They were older than me, but they were first generation Chinese citizens here in our country. They knocked on over 50,000 doors for me. And so to your latter point, it's not everyone. And we're not saying that it's everyone. But we have to stop allowing ourselves to be manipulated by our uninformed emotions and our desire to be liked by everyone and never have a moment of discomfort or dialogue where someone may actually disagree with us. We got to get over that. Or I don't believe it's hyperbole. I believe, although Donald Trump is in office and doing all that he's doing, he's not going to be in there forever. And I believe we could actually lose our country.
We certainly can. And, the important point here is that many recent immigrants from China know how bad the communist system is. And they are the most loyal Americans because they know what's at stake. They don't take our freedoms for granted. But unfortunately, there are also large segments of the Chinese American population who don't think that way and for various reasons align themselves with the party. And we're seeing, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, but we have seen, for instance, the Democratic Party try for its own electoral purposes to divide the American people along the lines of race. And, for instance, to use Chinese Americans, which is the reason why so many Chinese Americans in the state of New York have been accused and charged with committing acts for China and their Chinese Americans and their Democrats. And that's not a coincidence. So, as I said, I'm not a Republican, but I really am concerned about what the Democratic Party is doing to divide Americans along the lines of race and trying to exploit that and to exacerbate the divisions in our society. That's exactly what the Chinese Communist Party is trying to do. We see this in their propaganda almost every day, Kathy.
Right. Gordon Chang, thank you, sir, so much for being on. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, and thank you so much for having me on your show.
Absolutely. Blessings. Oh, my goodness. I just love talking to very smart people. We got to be informed. I know. You're going to have to think. You're going to have to actually get involved. I know it's so taxing, but we must. I see you on the other side.
Dawn Stensland here with exciting news from my friends at Piazza Auto Group. Acura has just been named America's Best Value Luxury Brand in Kelley Blue Book's 2025 Consumer Choice Awards. That means top performance, cutting-edge tech, and unmistakable style, all with long-term value you can trust. From the sporty Integra to the all-new ADX and your dynamic MDX, Acura delivers more for your drive and your dollar. Visit Piazza Acura in Ardmore, Reading, or Westchester. Shop online, piazzaacura.com. Tell Dawn sent you.
Just don't do it. Just don't go another day climbing in and out of that unsafe, ugly, old bathtub. Today's the day to step into a gorgeous new shower from PJ Fitzpatrick. The jacuzzi shower system from PJ Fitzpatrick features a low entry threshold. Just walk right in. The jacuzzi shower is luxurious, affordable, and it installs in just one day. Plus, PJ will include a free shower seat and safety bars for all customers this month. Visit trustpj.com today for your free design consultation.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob! Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life.
Rates may vary. Bill monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
Your official home of Penn State football and basketball is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Every Nittany Lions game, every play, all season on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
You can't stop me! What? What's up, Pennsylvania? OMG. We are at the end of it all, and I'm out here looking at you guys on YouTube. Y'all are so kind. So kind. I appreciate all of you taking this ride with me, and I want to acknowledge, because you guys out here on YouTube, you have acknowledged it, and I want to acknowledge it because I remember seeing this judge, Frank, how do you pronounce his last name?
Caprio, yeah, Providence judge.
Frank Caprio was an American judge and politician who served as the chief judge of the municipal court of Providence, Rhode Island, and he has passed away. And everything that I see of him out on the World Wide Web describes him as the nicest judge in the world, and that he actually tried to help everyone who came before him. Getting emotional again. Good people. There are so many good people. But he has sadly passed away. He died of pancreatic cancer. Guys, love your family. Hold them. Be intentional. Tell them you love them. We got to stop withholding roses until once people have passed away or have left our space. Let's give them their roses now. Let's applaud them now. Call up your children, and without giving a whole laundry list of to-dos, just say, I saw some. I actively look for things to compliment my children or my husband or my mother on. You do the same. Blessings. See you tomorrow.
You're driving along when you realize...
Oh, I've got to get over. Oh my gosh, sorry.
You didn't see him, did you? He was in your blind spot. You can also have a blind spot when it comes to your retirement. That's where Joe Yakovich of JML Financial Group comes in. He knows about a little blind spot called taxes. Social Security, your pension, your investments, all can be taxable. Look, you don't want to end up saying...
Will I be writing huge checks to the government when I retire?
Don't get blindsided by taxes. Make sure your retirement plan has a tax plan. With one call to JML Financial Group, 856-925-6674. That's 856-925-6674. Or at jmlfinancialgroup.com. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company. JML Financial Group does not offer legal or tax advice. Please consult the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstance.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-597-7992. That's 800-597-7992 today.
Transform your home this Labor Day with Bucks County Estate Traders Labor Day Sale. Save 20 to 50% off store-wide. Explore all styles here with high-quality furniture and statement pieces. Discover nearly 20,000 unique items, from 18th century American and European design to mid-century modern and contemporary showstoppers. Shop online with code LABOR25 at buckscountyestatetraders.com or visit our Hatfield showroom, open 7 days a week. Hurry, Labor Day savings run August 25th through September 1st. Some exclusions apply.
Summer is here and the good times are calling. It's the perfect moment to swing by your local PA Fine Wine and Good Spirit store and get $2 off your summer favorites, like El Jimador Silver Tequila, Herradura Blanco Tequila, and Herradura Reposado Tequila. Perfect for backyard get-togethers or beach days. And while you're there, don't forget to grab a 4-pack of Jack and Coke or Jack and Coke Zero Sugar. Ready to drink in a can. Chill, sip, and celebrate responsibly.
Whiskey Specialty, 10% ABV. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniel's Little Number 7 are registered trademarks of Jack Daniel's Properties Inc. Coca-Cola is a trademark of the Coca-Cola Company.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
This is Merrill Reese. When it comes to your roof, it's like football. Good planning is essential. That's why I've got a brand new gorgeous roof from Impriano Roofing. Jack Impriano and his 4 sons are a true family business, serving our area for 5 decades. Accountability plus. It's good to get a brand new roof from Impriano Roofing. Visit Impriano.com. That's Impriano.com. The best homes have an Impriano roof.
Hey, it is downtime. Welcome in. Velveeta cheese in the news. All right, I'll make a confession. I've never been to a Cracker Barrel. It's kind of like the same thing when I said I never had vodka. It set off a federal investigation here. Hey, is there any light in there in the producer's room? I'd like to see Kirk, so when he's on call there, I know. Yeah, I can't see. The producer's lounge has gone dark. I don't know why. I guess it's dark outside. Okay.
Or vampires.
Yeah, Velveeta is what happened here? Okay. Velveeta is what the new Cracker Barrel logo branding. Here we have another outsider coming in, making the case. Now, I don't think this is quite like Bud Light. There's no Dylan Mulvaney, but people are sensitive to this stuff. So what's the secret of Cracker Barrel? Why would you go to a Cracker Barrel?